Hello beauties and welcome back to another episode. Today we're talking all about hair. All that hair. Specifically, we're going to be mentioning different mistakes that we could be making because Ro and I have learned a few things or two over the years of some mistakes that we could be doing in the shower, after the shower, before the shower that could be causing hair loss.
Yes, and then we both have different reasons for hair shedding. We both have different hair insecurities.
Oh yeah.
And I think we've talked about this in all of our previous hair care videos or whenever we do talk about hair care, is that our scalp is an extension of our face, skin. And just like skin, there's also different scalp types.
Yeah. Which is why we need different remedies to help spot the difference and then kind of treat it.
And of course, there'll be many products. We're gonna be talking about our go-to hair care items for our scalp health, to prevent hair loss, to make sure our locks are nice and shiny and beautiful and bright, just like our skin.
Before we get started, we want to thank Function of Beauty for sponsoring a portion of this video. We've talked a lot about their shampoos and conditioners in the past, so we'll mention more on that later. But first, let's recap over the stages of hair and what actually happens to these little strands that we actually call hair.
Yay! So to start, what is even our hair? Like, how do we break down hair as we would break down our skin, right? So you have your hair, which is basically, this is like the elephant's grave. When your hair grows out, it's like, it's all dead.
Dead
keratin. Even though it's like very much here, it's not.
It's so
alive.
weird. It's just like fingernails. When it grows, it's already dead. It's just a buildup of cells. So that's
fascinating.
Cool.
The human body, right? And then we slowly work our way back up to the scalp.
Yeah.
And then if you want to think of hair follicles, they're basically like pores on our skin, but for our scalp. And then even for our little pores on our skin, there are like teeny tiny micro hairs growing out of them.
Yeah.
But then for our scalp, it just has these like
huge long strand of hair.
Yep.
And much like the pores on our skin, the scalp pores also contain oils, which is why our scalp gets oily, but that's also Mother's Nature's way of creating lubrication on our scalp. Huh?
Oh, yes.
Yes. And sometimes some
Hate
of us
to love it, love to hate it.
Yeah, have more of it, which is why we have to cleanse more.
Yes.
And then there's obviously the different thicknesses of hair, density, and the frizziness. All of that actually comes down to how it grows out of the follicle.
Yes, because multiple hairs can grow out of a follicle, which leads people to have more voluminous, thick hair, or it can be a couple of strands, which may make it look a bit more finer and thinner.
Yeah. And the cool thing to note is I always used to wonder, how do I still have hair on my head? Because it seems to shed so much, but there's three main stages that our hair goes through.
The three phases include first, the growth stage, also called anagen. Then it goes through a very quick transition phase called the catagen phase, and then it gets to the next big phase, which is the resting phase, or the telogen phase, and then it starts shedding.
Yes. But then by the time it sheds, there's other ones that have worked their way through the growth phase for 2 to 6 years, and it also catches up. So it's always this cycle.
The circle. Okay, we're gonna get demonetized. But yes. So as Fel just mentioned, there is a natural life cycle to our hair, but due to some lifestyle stressors, diet stressors, using the wrong products for our skin type or our scalp type could potentially lead to acute hair loss, just like sudden hair loss.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what a lot of us experienced during COVID too. Yes.
yeah.
Just all of a sudden, you just feel like it's normal to lose about 100 or so strands of hair a day.
But who's
I
counting?
felt like I was just pulling out half of my hair. You can lose up to 70% of your hair through telogen effluvium. We can talk about that later.
All right, now moving in shower.
Oh, that's always the hardest part.
It's going to the
from
gym.
out to in. Yeah. No, it really is. I just have this thing where, I don't know. I just don't like showering or washing my hair. But once I'm in there, it's great.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. You're like, why did I ever hate you?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the different types of shampoos because we all have different hair needs. So Function of Beauty is obviously a customizable shampoo and conditioning option for you guys, and we've been using this for years now. Yeah, where you can not only pick the fun, funky colors, now they even have stickers on the bottles, but it's really working towards your hair goals and what situation you're currently facing. So for me, it's like dry, flaky scalp, but I also have really big split ends from like coloring my hair a lot and using a lot of heat products. So it gets really dull, it gets really dry and brittle towards the end, and then I want volume.
So first, on their online quiz, you can pick your hair goals, which is basically what Fel just described. You can also customize your color, you can customize the scent. Because I usually wash my hair at night, I actually picked a lavender scent so that I can like wind down at night. I know you're not the biggest fan of lavender, but just knowing when you wash your hair. So for example, if I'm the type that washes my hair in the morning, I go for something more citrusy and bright. And then you can also adjust the level of fragrance you want.
True.
I think you did medium.
Yeah.
And then I did light, just so it's like, it's kind of there, but it's not overwhelming.
And I don't think I've come across any brand that lets you pick the amount of smell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, like that is very awesome because I love my hair smelling fragrant because you know how there's products even out there that's like hair perfume specifically, so when you like whoosh away that it like leaves a trail of flowers and peaches. I think I actually chose peach as the smell and it smells divine. And I remember the first time I did the quiz and got the product, it was like years ago when I had different hair goals.
So I remember the first bottle I've ever gotten, it was very heavy on moisturizing, nourishing, because like my hair felt a bit dry and it was bleached, so it was a bit damaged. And then the second bottle I got had more scalp care. And then now it's a little bit of both, but it's going back more towards the moisture and the thermal protection. Yeah.
And one way to kind of think of your hair care is, once again, like skincare. So with this, it's dermatologically tested, it's like paraben-free, sulfate-free, so it's the most gentle way of cleansing your hair every day. And for those of you who are scared, like, oh my God, am I washing my hair too often? Oh my God, it's the same questions. Am I cleansing my face too often? Am I washing my hair too often? Yeah. It's gentle enough that you can use every day, obviously, because there aren't any of these additional harsh chemicals, but it still does the job of really cleansing your scalp and your hair.
Oh, and you can customize your little name.
Oh,
Function of Ro. So cute.
You know, like I was so stupid. So it's beauty within, right? Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'll do like beauty first name within. And then it was Function of Beauty, but that's the actual name.
Function, oh, aw, that's so cute.
So if you're curious, you can get 20% off your first custom duo. Pick your colors, pick your little scents, and it's a great way to try it out if you haven't already. So I think that's a good transition into discussing different ways and reasons that we have fallout. So what have you found that provokes like sudden hair loss out of nowhere?
Stress. Yeah, I think it was like, I remember when I started losing a bunch of hair during quarantine, it seemed like it came out of nowhere. But the thing is, with telogen effluvium, it's you can experience something very stressful and your hair doesn't actually fall out for another 3 months.
So it's not like instant.
Yeah, so you already forgot about what happened probably. And then it like suddenly happens seemingly out of nowhere and you're like, what the heck is going on? It could last up to like 3 to 6 months. I think during that time for me, it's like the first time in my life where I lost like a lot of hair and it was very scary.
That's interesting though, because I think stress activates different hormones and things like that, right? Which is very connected to different receptors on our skin and obviously our scalp. So it probably speeds up that process unnaturally. So for me, I feel like it's not stress related, but I find that when there's like changes and my scalp gets really dry and dandruffy, I experience a lot of hair loss. Like when it starts flaking a lot. And sometimes I don't even know why.
I mean, it makes sense. If you think about our pores being filled by sebaceous filament, it's like the same concept for our hair follicles too.
Yeah.
So if you imagine your hair follicles that's actually growing out or like there's like an actual hair in there, if it's being stuffed by like oils and dirt and grime and stuff, it's just not gonna be able to breathe and grow as well. If anything, it's just gonna fall out because it's being suffocated.
And with the things related to, you know, dealing with huge stresses in life, it is bound to happen. But there are little steps that we can take every day that will really help to minimize this. Watching a bunch of videos, it comes down to hair brushing, there's scalp treatment, and kind of scalp prepping.
This is actually something I never do and I don't think of doing.
Same.
And then when I'm in the shower and I lose the amount of hair I lose, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But then it's because you're not brushing your hair properly, so that when you're in the shower, it's tangled and they just fall.
Yes! Brushing your hair before the shower is super effective in minimizing like the amount that goes into the shower. And there's a way, so like you start from the bottom
ends
to get all the little kinks out, and then you work your way up to the middle, and then you can like massage the full length of hair. And then you kind of take this section by section. This way, you're not going from here and like tugging at your hair.
I used to do that.
Yeah,
No
right?
patience.
And then it gets like stuck.
But that's why in the Disney movies, they're always like,
Yeah, they're
and then
always
they
down
go
here.
up.
Rapunzel, give us your tips. And then by brushing it, you're actually taking out loose kind of dead hair already, and it will be stuck in here.
As Fall's doing, kind of hold your hair so it's like really taking out the kinks without pulling from the root. And then when you get to the top of your hair, the scalp, it's actually a really nice massage.
Yeah.
It's like lymphatic drainage for your hair, for your scalp. Yeah.
We're watching a video and the hairdresser said, find the ones that have this air paddle so that when you press it against your scalp, it's not like digging into the scalp and causing too much shock to the system. There's also like boar's hair, which I feel like is better as a styling brush, and I wouldn't use it to get out knots because the boar hair actually helps to transfer sebum and oils from the root down. So it's actually really good. It's kind of like a mask for your hair, but using your natural sebum. And also another tip is not to brush your hair in the shower, because when your hair is wet, it's when it's most prone to damage. Yes. So brush your hair before going into the shower.
Ding.
Ding. Now let's move on to some other hair care products.
That specifically target a concern that you have.
Yeah.
So my concern has ironically become very oily scalp. What about yours?
Mine is ironically dry scalp because it's dry and flaky.
How the tables have turned. Maybe this is what it means to grow up and grow old.
Yeah. Or like maybe it's if you spend too much time with the other person,
Oh, yeah,
you become the other person. Okay, start with your oily.
I will wash my hair, I would go to sleep, I'd wake up half day through, not even a full day. I can start smelling my scalp. This
Oh, yeah, I
usually
remember
never
you saying that.
happens. It never happens. So I was like, what am I doing wrong? What is going on? And I realized it's just, it really is just picking a scalp care shampoo that works. Two that has been amazing is the Ven. This is the symbiotic polyamine shampoo that we actually have on our Beauty Within shop. And then the other is the Sacha Juan scalp shampoo, which we also have on our shop. I think this is just by like proximity and availability and like things that Fel already love too. I've been using these interchangeably for the past couple of weeks. And then I use this shampoo on my last wash. And then again, within not even a full day, I could smell my scalp. So I will say, after using this, I went back with the symbiotic, and it just like, I just spat everywhere. It's how great I feel.
So in here, there's a few key ingredients that I think might be the reason why it's helping. So it's got green tea leaf water. It's got gluconolactone, so it's mildly exfoliating the scalp of dead skin. And then it's got panthenol and Centella asiatica, and the probiotic and prebiotic. So it's like strengthening and building up your scalp while also like really lightly cleansing it. And it's this beautiful like milky
It's very
consistency.
watery.
So I feel like this is just strengthening of the scalp, and through that it probably like because you're exfoliating the scalp every day, it's helping prolong the washes in between.
It's like exfoliating your face.
Yeah. And same with the Sacha Juan, which is like a holy grail of like shampoos.
oily scalp.
Oh my God. This one has a little bit of salicylic acid in it. So that is also getting deeper into the pores because this one is like mild. I feel like this kicks it up a notch even more and really helps to remove buildup of
No
oil.
wonder these two. See, guys, this is literally blind faith. I trusted her so much that I used both of these from her recommendation, and then it actually worked.
Yeah, and well, glad to know it actually works. And isn't it so interesting that like that's the best way to try products blindly, and then you're just like, you don't have any bias of like what works better, what brand does what. Whatever shampoo you decide to use, it's actually not for the purpose of spreading all throughout your hair. Just concentrate it on the scalp, and then you kind of spread what's left over to the mid lengths and then the end. So like I do this thing where it's like this, and then I'll get the ends and mush it into the scalp to just get that residue, and that's it. You might realize you don't even need as much shampoo as you're actually using.
Some hair mistakes that I think I used to make was that I would put it all over my strands when that wasn't needed. So for the video that we watched, it's also recommended to first foam the shampoo between your palms so that it's nice and frothy, and then you like gently work it in your scalp. I think I can do that with this, but with this I just don't have the patience because it's so runny. As I go like this, it does foam a little, but then it's like dripping, so I'm just like, whatever, I'm just gonna put it in.
I realize sometimes if I'm not like cognizant of it, it will just be zoned where I plonk it. And then it doesn't get to like all the other areas. But once again, like using it's like cat paws.
Yeah.
Your fingerprint would be.
The palms of your fingers.
Yes.
Using that and not your nails to very gently like give your head a massage.
So what I've been exploring lately is actually these like treatments that go directly onto the scalp, and then you either wash off if it's a wash off one, or leave it on if it's a leave on one. These two. So this one is a wash off one. This is from Medicure. Soixadil. 2-in-1 treatment. And I first actually started using the shampoo first, which I really liked. It reminded me a lot of this one. So if you're looking for maybe like a dupe, it's very similar. It's actually formulated with this soybean ingredient, which helps to really nourish and like moisturize the scalp in a not oily way.
We're having a soybean moment in
We really
skincare
are.
and hair care.
Whoa. So what you do in the shower is you twist the little thing, but it goes directly onto the scalp. So what I do with this is on the irritated areas, where it's like super itchy or super flaking, I'll just like squirt a bit, rub it into the scalp after I shampoo. So you wash off your shampoo, put this in.
Would you put on conditioner or treatment on the rest of your hair?
Not yet, because I have to wash this off first. Yeah, so I don't know like how to describe the consistency. It's just like, it's not bouncy like a shampoo. It's just kind of like this toner.
Water.
Yeah. Think of it as like a toner treatment for your scalp, and it like moisturizes your scalp so that when you come out, it's like you've done the complete routine of your skin, but for your scalp. And then you go on with the conditioner, which only goes on the ends.
Yes. So for conditioners, I think one thing I learned is that it works better on drier hair. So it's good to, I'm not gonna take a towel into the shower and like dry my hair, but I'll try to squeeze out as much water as I can. Once it's like relatively dry, you put this in, and then I'll go like this. I'll just first run it through the ends of my hair, and then similarly in that video, you just massage it upward, because your hair follicles, they're like scales that kind of go up like this. Right? So to go down like this is great, but then to really get it into your hair shafts, you just go like
To like press it in there almost.
Yeah, and you're just massaging your hair. And the most important thing is never get your conditioner in your scalp. This is actually a mistake that I made growing up, which is maybe why my hair turns so oily, because my scalp is just clogged with conditioning and products like that. So the purpose is all to clean, and you just want to make sure that they're all being washed out, because anything that's going to remain there will cause potential irritation. You might ingest it. It might be on your body.
Back acne. Oh my God, because then it runs off and actually blocks the pores on your body. Oh, and if you want the cuticle to be sealed and shiny,
oh yes, your hair cuticles.
Cold water. Like finish your shower with a shot of cold water, and it's like smooth, silky, seals the deal.
It actually does work.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
It's wild.
Okay, post-shower care.
I see what you got there, girl. Same.
Yes. Okay, so like 2 things to mention that you can do that isn't specifically for hair loss, but it helps with the scalp once again, which can prevent
But good,
hair loss.
yeah.
The first is scalp treatment. So if you don't use something in shower, you can use post-shower scalp drips, I call them. So there's like a Derma-E one with tea tree oil and jojoba oil and a little bit of menthol, and you put it into the areas once again, like you just divide the hair, drip it in there, and it's instant relief. And that's what this is as well. There's different types. But the one that I've been using is Sajua Juan. This is the scalp treatment. And it's interesting because it's like a really lightweight lotion.
Gel, right?
It's kind of gel, like a milky gel lotion, whatever you call it.
I've used
but
this,
it's so
yeah.
lightweight. And did you feel like as soon as you put it on, there's instant relief?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like,
Yeah, because there is a little bit of menthol in there. And another thing I found, a mistake I did, after the shower, I used to not blow dry my hair and sometimes sleep with it damp. And the next morning, I would have mad itchy scalp. Yeah, so now I always make sure
all
to...
the bacteria is like, wee!
Yeah, it's like having a little party.
Yeah. Which is
Dry your
why the Aqueous hair towel.
Yes. And what you do is you just, instead of using your towel, it has this specific material that dries it like exponentially faster.
It's like microfiber.
Yeah.
And it's gentler on your hair too. It won't pull it like cotton or normal towels.
And it's specifically designed to fit like, it's called
Yes, Belle?
it's called a hair turban, and I'm not really showcasing it, right? But it like fits perfectly over your head so it doesn't hang back like a heavy towel,
yes.
which can then tear your hair off after for being so heavy.
Yeah, it actually dries your hair much faster than a traditional towel.
Yes.
Because the way that that's designed, it's more for like your body, just getting the water off. This is actually like sucking out the water. And yeah, Fel has the more turban looking one. I have just like, it's a longer rectangle that I put my hair down. I just like flip it over and twist it like normally as you would.
Before we finish,
What is something you learned today, this week?
I was actually going through some random notes on my computer. There was something I wrote down. It was like, there's no bad emotion, but there's a bad reaction. And I was like, wow, yeah, that's an excellent way to phrase it. Because it's like, we go through life and we obviously feel things and we, react to certain things that happen to us, but like, that's all fine if we're able to like react positively and learn from that situation and kind of like control the way that we proceed in the future or learn to tackle that situation. And I think like for us, we're always trying to find better ways of like controlling our emotion, how we process feelings, what these feelings mean, and that it's not always like a direct attack on you. Sometimes I think like instantly when something happens, we're hurt or we're like whatever it is because we always think it's about us. But then I don't know, I feel like we say this all the time, having the space to take a step back, thinking about the situation, and then deciding how you want to proceed.
Before just instinctively reacting.
Yeah. For example, it's nothing like major, but sometimes when I call my mom or I call my dad, like sometimes they just know exactly what to say to irk me really bad. And then I think like young me would just be like, you know what, I'm done with you. I don't have to talk with you right now. Or like, why are you being like this? Kind of just like yelling back at them and creating a conflict in itself. Then like the conflict is no longer about what it initially was. But now it's kind of just like working through that initial frustration or annoyance and being like, okay, I get what you're saying, but here's the actual situation. This is how I feel. And maybe this is how we can all like, blah, blah, blah. And it becomes more of a conversation. It becomes more of a discussion. And this I feel like is such a priceless skill of communication.
It is.
Whether it's a team, whether it's your friends, whether it's like a stranger on the street, whatever, like.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on with my life.
Yeah, like what's the point, right? So yeah, that's it.
Amazing.
You live and you learn.
I agree.
So I want to thank Function of Beauty again for letting us share more hair tips. Let us know if you have any questions below, and we'll see you very soon. Bye. Flowers clean and glow, let your colors shine.